All right, everyone. Good evening. It's a couple minutes past 6 o'clock, and I think we can go ahead and get started. There may be a few more people that join us here as the meeting progresses, but first and foremost, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Really appreciate you taking some time out of your week to discuss City of Charlotte Zoning Petition 2021-025. Located along Wallace Lane. I am Paul Pennell with Urban Design Partners, and we are representing the petitioners here in VR, otherwise known as Ryan Homes, for a townhome development. We are requesting a UR2 district. We can get into a little more detail on that later. But I'm sure everyone here is familiar with it. There was a previous rezoning plan that came through back in 2018. My team and I we were a part of that zoning petition as well, taking that petition through the process. And there are some changes that will be occurring within this particular petition that are a little different than the previous one. We'll go through those in detail tonight. Again, thank you everybody for joining us, and we'll go ahead and jump right on in. I would ask that everybody remains muted during the presentation. I think it might just be a little easier for everybody. However, there is a chat feature. If you hover over your toolbar there, you'll see a little chat box. You can click on that, and then that will give you an option to type a question if you'd like. I've got someone here at the office that is going to help monitor these questions, and we'll be sure to get everyone's questions answered by the end of this presentation. So again, likely everybody here is familiar with the site, and I'm certain that everyone joining us tonight probably is far more familiar with the road networks and the connectivity and this location than I am myself. However, I feel like I'm becoming a pretty good resource for this location. So this is now the second rezoning I've been involved in within these particular 9 parcels. So again, it's about 13.2 acres located along Wallace Lane, just south of Thompson Brook. Thompson Brook right of way actually dead ends just to the north of this particular site. But then also the difference between this particular petition and the previous one that went through in 2018 is actually we have included an additional 3 acres on the south side of Wallace Lane. Current existing land use plan, adopted land use for this area is UR2. That would be a density of residential density of under 17 DUA. 17 DUA is 17 dwelling units per acre. On the south side of Wallace Lane, it's currently zoned R4. The R4, the 4 stands for 4 dwelling units per acre. So currently right now, 4 dwelling units per acre is what would be allowable there by right. Just to the north, by right, again, would be the actual previously approved site plan. And we actually have a representation here of a reference of that site plan that we can discuss tonight if anyone has any questions regarding it. To the west is some mixed use and some business districts, and also some residential multifamily, a little bit of residential multifamily along Briardell. The R17 MF stands for 17 DUA. Multifamily, that's the MF. So again, here, just for clarity, we are requesting a UR2 CD. The CD is conditional. That's what the CD stands for throughout the entire parcel area through these 9 parcels. It stands for Urban Residential 2. Just means the 2 is not really specific to anything. It's just there are 3 different categories for urban residential districts, and 2 is the middle, or really it's the second most, we'll call intense urban residential district, mostly townhomes and planned multifamily. So as we move through the rezoning process, there are many different design considerations that we have to focus in on as we work through site planning, specifically regarding what are the existing conditions on site. We had thought we had those all figured out during the previous zoning petition back in 2018. That was not the case. I'll get into a little bit more detail here on that in just a moment. The City of Charlotte zoning ordinance. There are quite a lot of extensive rules that developers need to follow with any type of land development in the City of Charlotte. We need to follow those rules, and those rules can be found in the City of Charlotte zoning ordinance and also the subdivision ordinance. Because this is a rezoning process, community input is very important. We have actually been reaching out to leaders within the Sharon Forest community and also Matt Newton, Councilman Matt Newton, to provide and get some input prior to having this community meeting tonight. So hopefully we'll be able to have a good dialogue and discuss what's being proposed here and incorporate that input into our next submittal, which is actually coming up this coming Monday. We can get into that in a bit more detail as well. The adopted land use plan, touched on that in an earlier slide, just showing what the City of Charlotte feels should occur here. Density, how many residential units are there on site? That's referred to as DUA, dwelling units per acre. The zoning district, is it going to be a multifamily district, a UR district, an R district? Here we are requesting a UR district. Existing environmental features on site, definitely we'll be getting into more detail on that. Previous approved rezonings at a location. The development program of the petitioner. Petitioners are typically profit driven, and here that is certainly a component. It is a business, and the petitioners here are certainly looking to improve the existing condition to something that the community should be excited about having. We'll take into account existing vehicular traffic patterns and how we can improve those, and I think we're doing that by improving the vehicular network in the neighborhood. Traffic calming, that is certainly a concern within this area. There are some speeders along Wallace Lane, as there is throughout the entire city, and we hope that we have an idea here that can help slow traffic down. Pedestrian safety is, of course, always at the top of our mind while we try to achieve the City of Charlotte Vision Zero policy. That's essentially a policy that the City of Charlotte has in place to reduce the total deaths to zero. So we hope that we can certainly achieve that here with wide sidewalks and help to improve the pedestrian condition along Wallace Lane and also within the project itself. The addition of green space and tree safe, we think that's been an improvement from the previous petition, and also incorporating amenity areas. So with that, I'm going to do a quick dive into the previous approved petition. That was 2018-056. This sheet basically demonstrates what public roads were previously committed to within this zoning petition. We had connections from Wallace Lane at the intersection of Briardell and Wallace Lane up to Emmons Lane. This is a residential wide with some on-street parking. Also, Merino Court extension. We were taking Merino Court and extending that across over to Emmons Lane as well. And then Thompson Brook Lane extension came down to the Merino Court extension. So there were quite a lot of public roads that were being incorporated into the previous approved petition. Total number of residential units out here on site is 119 townhomes that came in at 12.9 DUA. That's 12.9 dwelling units per acre. Again, it was a townhome petition with off-street parking, garages, and then some green space, potential tree save areas that were essentially replanted tree save areas out here on site. So as we moved through, after the approval for this particular petition, as we moved through that process, the next step was getting land development permits developed and approved. Essentially, land development permits are essentially a fancy way of saying construction documents. So we had a wetlands consultant go out on site to confirm from a previous report that had been done that there were no wetland features on site, wetlands or streams. Before the rezoning had occurred, we had a group let us know that there were no such items on site. That was not the case. So there were quite an extensive amount of streams and wetlands out on site. Those are represented here. The blue lines are the located streams. These have been approved and jurisdictionally reviewed by the Army Corps of Engineers. So the Army Corps of Engineers have actually confirmed what you see here, and they have agreed that these are in fact the environmental features on site. The green areas are existing wetlands. There are opportunities to disturb these areas. We have limitations. You can disturb up to 150 linear feet of streams within a project area, or up to 1/10 of an acre of wetlands on site as well, prior to the need to purchase mitigation credits to disturb more area. When you pair that with the previously approved conditional site plan, that site plan was codified and approved by City of Charlotte City Council. When you overlay that with the wetlands that we found on site, the previously approved site plan was just not workable. There, as you can see here, far too much impacts associated with those environmental features on site. Essentially, it would have disturbed nearly 100% of everything that was out there, and we're talking approximately probably over 800 linear total feet of 900 total linear feet of existing streams that were identified out on site, not to mention all of the wetland areas as well. So some time went by, and some additional concepts were pulled together. A few months back, word may have gotten out that there was a previous potential petition that was moving forward. That was apartments. That group came very close to submitting a rezoning petition for apartments at this location. I'm happy to say that is not the case. This is not the group that was doing that. And I was very excited to hear that Scott Glover and his Ryan Holmes team came to the table to rework the previously approved site plan to ensure that a lot of these impacts will not be taking place. So with that said, let's jump into the new petition that was recently submitted a couple months back. So this slide is the first page in the current rezoning site plan that's been submitted, and it just demonstrates pretty much the public road that is on site. Emmons Lane will continue to be extended from Briardale Drive up to Emmons Lane, which would help to improve the vehicular networking from Briardale up to Emmons Lane, over to Thompson Brook, and then over to Dion Ave. So that should certainly help to improve the vehicular connectivity in this area, which requires at times some rather long vehicular loops that need to be driven to get where you're going. And this is the new site plan that has been submitted. This particular plan in total is 157 townhome units. It is still 119 townhome units north of Wallace Lane. The difference is now we have included 3 additional parcels on the south side of Wallace Lane to include a pocket of 38 townhomes as well. So in total, it's 157 units. The total acreage is approximately 13.2. The north side of Wallace Lane is about 12.9 DUA. It actually mirrors the previously approved 12.9 dwelling units per acre approved in the previous petition. And then the south side is 9.9 DUA. So that's where this is kind of shaking out. Thompson Brook Lane and Merino Court are still being extended as they were in the previous petition. But instead of extending them with public roads, now we're extending them with 2-way private alleys. So we're in keeping with the intent of the subdivision ordinance, basically stating that rights of way need to be extended through a site when they're stubbed to a parcel. We're still providing that vehicular connectivity, that pedestrian connectivity. This cross section has sidewalks on both sides of the 2-way alley. But what you may be noticing here is The biggest change that's occurred with this petition that was not incorporated in the past petition, and I can jump back here and show you real quickly here, but all of the townhomes with the exception of 6 have their own driveways. The previous petition, the townhomes had no driveways. Overflow parking would be provided and accommodated with on-street parking along Marino Court and Emmons Lane Extension, and also some surface parking on the interior. However, this new petition, everyone has their own driveway, which should be really beneficial for off-street parking, making sure that the alleys and the roads here do not get cluttered. We still have some on-street parking along Emmons Lane. We still have some on-street parking along Wallace Lane. Both of those additions should help with providing some traffic calming and slowing people down when they're around some parked cars while driving on those public roads. That should have an effect on people's speed, and it should slow people down. So as we had previously discussed, the environmental features on site, we wanted to pull together this slide for everyone just to show that the environmental features that we had found and identified on site are still here. The intent is to not impact those, with the exception of the public road of Emmons Lane crossing this existing stream here. So this would likely be crossed with a box culvert, something like that. And the intent here would be to stay well beneath the 150 linear feet of allowable disturbance for the streams on site. Ideally, and I think that this can be achieved, we will not be affecting any of the wetlands on site either. I think that can certainly be achieved through this rezoning petition. Another benefit to this layout is a lot of the trees that would have been cut down in the previous plan. We should be able to keep today along the streams and wetlands area. So we should be able to keep and maintain a nice green belt through this site. On the south side of Wallace Lane, we have done stream investigation down here as well. It has not been delineated. It hasn't been approved by the Army Corps of Engineers, but there's a little finger of wetland, or excuse me, a little stream finger right here in this tree save area. And of course, we will be saving and protecting that as well. Let me jump to the rendered site plan here. So hopefully this will provide a little bit more pleasing visual reflection of what's being proposed here on site. All of the yellow rectangles, those are the proposed townhomes. The green space is the existing trees, some of the trees that we're actually proposing within these private alleys, the streetscape that would occur along Emmons Lane, the streetscape that would occur along Wallace Lane is shown, and then also the streetscape that we would incorporate into this townhome pocket as well along Private Alley 3. And again, just to reiterate, it's a little easier to see everyone's driveway that's being proposed here, so everyone would have their own driveway on site. We've got a couple of stormwater quality ponds that would go in as well. Those are represented by these 4 SWQ areas, stormwater quality. Basically, they have not been sized. They're likely quite a bit larger than what they would end up being when we take this through the land development permit process, hopefully. But they're essentially a way in which we can capture stormwater on site, grab that before it gets released into the existing streams and creeks. That water would be cleaned over a few days as those sediments settle to the bottom. And then over a period of 3 to 5 days, that water that gets collected in those basins after a storm event would then slowly get released into the streams as a clean water feature. So again, these are townhomes that are being requested here. Ryan Homes, as you probably are familiar with, or maybe not, is the builder for Oakhurst. Oakhurst is located off of Monroe Road near Oakhurst Elementary. Just if anyone wants to have an example of the quality of construction, that would be a great one to go visit, so you can go see that community. I believe that community is actually, if not complete, very, very close to being completely built out. The product here is a little bit different than the Oakhurst product. It's a 3-story product, single-car garage, but the quality of the components, or excuse me, the quality of the building materials are going to be very similar. You're going to have stone accents, masonry accents on site, and the colors and building articulations between units is quite nice. So this would be if not the actual unit, a very, very close visual representation of the completed product that has been constructed. These are not models. These are actually photos of the unit type that's being requested here. So with that, I'm going to move to my final slide here, which arguably could be the most important slide we've got. And that's kind of demonstrating what the timeline is as we move forward through this process. Today, of course, is the petitioner's community meeting. It's March 9th. Thank you again for everyone joining us. Next major milestone in this process would be a public hearing. We're anticipating the public hearing being on May 17th. That's an opportunity for us to speak in front of council. Publicly, we would present this petition and discuss it and answer any questions that we may have. The public also has the opportunity to show up at this event and speak for or against a rezoning petition. We certainly hope that everyone is in favor of the petition. After that, the zoning committee. Zoning committee is a board of appointed committee members, one by each city council member. Those zoning committee members would review the zoning petition and vote on a recommendation back to city council on a recommendation for approval or a recommendation for denial. So that meeting it's not a public meeting, but it's publicly viewable. Everyone can watch it. It's on June 1st. We're anticipating June 1st. And then hopefully we would have a city council decision on June 21st. Again, these dates are all approximate. I don't foresee any of these dates occurring sooner than the dates we're providing. So by all means, make note of these dates just so everyone can be in the know on how this is moving forward. Before we open it up for questions, I would actually like to thank Vaughn Outerbridge and Alicia Tomlinson, who has really helped us leading up to this point, basically being a point of reference for us and the petitioner. They have already spent quite a bit of time helping guide us and provide feedback. So just wanted to let everyone know on this call that Vaughn and Alicia have done a great job, and thank you already for offering and volunteering your time and feedback, Vaughn and Alicia. So thank you. Well, with that, let me check the chat here and see if we've got any questions that have popped up. I don't see any. I can't imagine I was that thorough. There've got to be a couple questions here. But if you do have a question and don't want to type something into the chat, hopefully this won't be a free-for-all and there's not a bunch of questions, but feel free to unmute. We'll try and do this as in a organized. My lights are turning off in my office. Sorry, everybody. We'll try and do this as organized as possible. And if you have a question, feel free to unmute yourself and we can go through any questions that you may have regarding this petition.
I do have a question.
Yes, thank you, Gloria.
The thing is, the homes that are already constructed, they will keep it in the same way or they will be different?
So these will be the homes that are on. So I think it would be a two-part question, and I want to make sure I answer your question here. So the homes that are on site today will be removed. I believe there may be approximately 7 homes that are there today. I think maybe some of those have been. Those will be removed, and then the homes will be built in place. Now, the difference from what's being proposed here today versus the homes that are found along Emmons Lane is those are single-family detached homes. These are considered single-family attached. So they are townhomes. They'll be approximately, here in this visual representation, there are 6 townhomes in each building block. When we resubmit on Monday, each building block will have 5 townhomes in each building. Gloria, did that?
How much will
Couldn't
these
hear
homes
you
sell
very
for?
well.
I'm sorry, Gloria. Michael, I'll get to you in just a second. Gloria, what was your follow-up question?
No, that I couldn't hear you very well.
Oh, no. Okay. Can everybody hear me okay?
Well,
Okay.
your voice is a little low.
A little low. Let's see if I can improve that.
What there?
I'll talk a little louder into the. Is that a little
That's
better?
good there.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Good. So all of the homes that are on site today will be demolished. I think there's probably approximately 7 homes that are still out there on the north side and south side of Wallace Lane. Those will be removed, and then the townhomes will be built in their place. The difference between what this product is and the existing single-family homes that are, for example, adjacent Emmons Lane, those are single-family detached homes. It's 1 home per building. These will be, when we resubmit on Monday, 5 residential units per building. So these being townhomes, there'll be a portion of them that are attached. That's really the main difference between what's out there today and what's being proposed.
Thank you very much.
Of course, Gloria, happy to answer your question. Michael, I think you had one.
I was wondering how much these homes would sell for.
So they're going to be market rate. I don't think specifics have been determined yet, but they would likely be market rate or a little bit above market rate. But if I knew that answer, I would share it with you. But currently, right
I
now,
understand.
I don't think we know yet. But they will not be a below market rate product. I do know that.
The ones you showed with the garage on the first level and then 2 levels above that, is there any room down on that bottom level, or is that stairs up to the first level?
Nope, there will be some room on the first floor. I think there will probably be some options on that first floor as to what would really be down there. Maybe it's an office or an extra bedroom or 2.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, but there would be livable space on that first floor. Yes.
All right.
All right, Michael. Thank you. If anyone has any follow-up questions, feel free to ask. Any additional? Do we know what the square footage of each townhome is? That is a great question. Hold on, I can run through a quick number here, and I'm going to give you an approximate.
Do you want me to help you with that, Paul?
Scott, that would be tremendously helpful. Everyone, this is Scott Glover. He is on the petitioner team with NVR, and I think he can probably give you some definitive answers there.
So just backing up on the last couple questions. So the square footage is going to be between 1,500 and 1,700 square feet, depending on some of those options that Paul talked about that would be selected by the customer. And just to expand on what Paul answered, so the picture on your left, which shows the garages on the front, there are options for finished area behind that garage, and then you walk up the next 2 levels. And the image on the right shows the garage in the back of the home, and then there is finished space in front of that, whether it's an office, an additional bedroom, a family room. It could be a lot of different things. The homes that are on the right are going to be more the style they're going to face Wallace Lane. And the homes on the left are more the style that are going to be, at least with the front garage, not necessarily the style. There's 2 very different styles here. But at least with the orientation of the garage, those will be the ones mostly on the interior.
Thank you, Scott. That was helpful.
Okay.
Well, do we have any follow-up questions? Alicia, Vaughn, do you have anything? Got another chat here from Paul. Thank you for the informative presentation. The architectural precedents look good. It looks like the improvement on the previous plans. Question, will there be an HOA? That's a great question, Paul. Scott, do you want to maybe give a little bit of background on how your communities have their HOA and how they set them up?
Yes, there will absolutely be an HOA. So there will be a due structure where each customer pays into the HOA on a monthly basis. Those HOA dues will include a variety of different things, including maintenance of everybody's individual yard, maintenance of the common open space, also insurance on the homes, a reserve to pay for future repairs like roof repairs, roof replacements, and then insurance for the common open spaces, maintenance for the common open spaces. So that will be set up at the very beginning. Every customer will be required to join that HOA.
Thank you, Scott. Next question we've got here is from Christina. Will there be any improvements for sidewalks? Yes. So along Wallace Lane, and thank you for asking this question. So along Wallace Lane on the north side and the south side, there will be the addition of an 8-foot sidewalk directly adjacent each of these project areas. So there'll be an 8-foot sidewalk that runs the length of Wallace Lane. And then also Emmons Lane, the proposed public street connecting up to Emmons Lane, there will be an 8-foot sidewalk on both sides of that public road as well. Each home along Wallace Lane will actually have a sidewalk connection, a direct sidewalk connection to the proposed sidewalk, and then also all of the private alleys that are being proposed, 1, 2, and 3. And full disclosure, it is my fault. We did not show the sidewalks around private alley 3 here. But yes, there will be sidewalks on both sides of each alley. So there will be quite a nice pedestrian network within this project. All right. Alicia, I think this was something we had discussed in our previous meeting with Council Member Newton regarding this petition, and that was really related to the intersection here at Thompson Green, Private Alley 3, and Wallace Lane. I have had a follow-up discussion with CDOT, Charlotte Department of Transportation, and it would be optional for us to request a stop sign, a 4-way stop at this location. Is that something that we think would be beneficial to Wallace Lane at that location? A crosswalk and a stop condition at that intersection? Yes. Okay. All right. We will be sure to incorporate that into our next submittal on Monday to show that we want to do a crosswalk and stop sign there. Wayne, I see your question here. What is the marketing budget? That I do not know. Scott, you guys tell us a little bit about your marketing program for your sales and how you kind of roll that out to the public.
Yeah, that's a great question. So I don't have a marketing budget per se for this community. However, normally what we do is we advertise on the internet. We optimize our Google search optimization. We set up our own website with there'll be its own private community website within the Greater Ryan Homes website. We'll have sales reps that are staffed in the model home every day. So what you'll see us do is we will build the model building probably pretty quickly, and then we'll have a grand opening. And what we typically do is we sell first, build second. So you're not going to see us come in and build 40 homes all on the first day. We're going to build a model building. We'll open up for sales. We let the customers select the colors, the cabinet selections, and flooring selections, and so on. And then once we sell 4 or 5 homes within a townhome building, we go ahead and get started on it. So that may be more information than what you were looking for, but as an individual marketing budget on a per community basis, we don't really have it set up that way. We simply put the commission sales reps on site, they market it, and we draw the public in through mostly our website and sometimes realtor co-ops.
Gotcha. Thank you, Scott. I think that actually leads into a follow-up that I would like to note. If we're fortunate enough to get an approval, win an approval on this petition, which I of course certainly hope we are, the next step in this process would be the land development permit process. So if and when a rezoning is approved, that is not a green light for construction. There's a whole new process and permitting process that needs to follow. That would likely take approximately 6 months to obtain those land development permits. Construction on this site, Scott, how long do you think that would take you guys to go through the land development and earth moving process on this one?
I would imagine we'll develop it in 2 phases, one phase being the north, the second phase being the south, or vice versa. I would imagine the north would be first. The land development process for phase 1 would probably be about 9 months from the day we show up and start our clearing and grading process. From that point, we expect to sell and build between 50 and 60 homes per year. So that would lead us to about a 2.5-year build out once we build the model home.
Gotcha. Thank you, Scott. So I would anticipate maybe construction beginning maybe about this time next year, approximately. And then within 2.5 years from there, 3 years from there, this would be a fully built community within the neighborhood. Just to provide some timeline here for everybody, so they know how this would progress.
Oh, I have a question. Sorry, lost. Regarding the traffic mitigation,
Yes.
that we had talked about on Wallace Lane, Laura Drive, Sharon Forest, and Briardale, is that up to us and Matt to take care of, or do we include the developer in on this too?
Yeah, I mean, when we talk about the City of Charlotte Vision Zero plan, I think there is a conversation that can be had there. What can we do to Wallace Lane to make sure speeders slow down, also internally on site, Alicia? From a TIA standpoint, we're not reaching that threshold of formal offsite laneage improvements, but more than happy to have a conversation with you and Matt about what we can do here to improve that condition.
Paul, this is Matt. I just
Hey,
wanted
Matt,
to.
how are you? I didn't even recognize you with the beard.
Not a filter. This is actually me. Yeah. So I just wanted to quickly weigh in. I'm going to give you a call tomorrow if that's okay, so we can talk about ways that we can hopefully partner to provide some traffic calming in the area. Certainly, the 4-way stop that you had mentioned helps, but maybe we can do a little bit more. And let's have that conversation if that's okay with you.
Of course, yeah. I am free all morning tomorrow.
Maybe I've got a call with the CDOT director on either Thursday or Friday, so maybe I can circle back around with her and let's see what the abilities can be.
Sounds great.
I have a concern that when the traffic's heavy, people will be coming in Sharon Forest Drive, making a left on Briardale, speeding up there to get to your development.
So the intersection of Sharon Forest Drive and Briardale is actually something that we have brought up in a previous meeting between us and Vaughn, Alicia, and Councilmember Newton. So that is definitely something that I think we will be discussing there.
Because people shortcut everywhere they can.
Yeah.
We have put stop signs in our neighborhood, and we've had accidents because people don't stop for them.
Alicia, remind me, is the intersection of Sharon Forest and Briardale, is that a stop sign or is that through movement?
Not. It is a 2-way stop, Briardale stops on both sides, but Sharon Forest, where most of the people will be coming in, the main entrance,
Okay.
is just a straight shot through. We've tried to get a 4-way stop there and we've been rebuffed before. Hopefully with the additional cars that are going to be coming through and using that, we can revisit that. I think that would be something that would be an advantage to Sharon Forest neighbors, but also safety for your new development as well.
Yes. Okay. Councilmember Newton, I will be sure to follow up with Robin Byers on this intersection as well. Maybe we can all kind of on all fronts discuss this with her and see what can be done to help this condition.
I think that'd be great. I'll be speaking with Liz Babson as well, and my hope is that we can do a little more here. Once again, 4-way stop. That's certainly helpful, but maybe we can do a little bit more.
Okay.
Thanks, Paul.
Absolutely. Making some notes. All right. Well, we've got a couple more chats here. I'm so sorry. Let me get back on the. Let's see here. So, do you have a projection of the increase in traffic flow on Wallace Lane? So we have not run traffic counts on this particular project, but I can certainly try and figure out what that will be, Wayne, and we will incorporate that into our meeting notes. So everything that we're talking about tonight, we will actually be incorporating that into a document. Everyone's questions will be incorporated into a document, and then the answers that we provide. And we'll give that document back to the City of Charlotte Planning Department. And this document will be posted publicly. So I would encourage everyone to go to rezoning.org and then click on the 2021-025 petition. And you'll be able to see all of these documents moving forward. So in about a week and a half, hopefully I'll have that put in. That'll show the traffic increase associated with this petition. Speed bumps, I think the road humps are maybe something that we can certainly take a look at for Brydale. The whole reason why people use these cut-through roads is because they can drive fast down them. So the speed humps would certainly help to mitigate that. And if people know that they're going to have to be going over those at 5 miles an hour, then maybe that's an answer. We will talk about that with CDOT. Will there be any stipulations that prevent the properties from becoming rental properties? Scott, I think I may need your help on that one.
Yep, sure. That's a very common question. We get it a lot, and it's a good question. So I'm going to explain the answer, and then I'll explain the why behind it. So we will have limitations in the HOA documents that will limit the length of time. Well, let me put it this way. It'll put a floor on the length of time that somebody can rent their home. We don't want this to turn into a transient rental type of neighborhood where somebody's there for a month, or it turns into an Airbnb type of situation. But at the same time, if somebody lives in a home, gets transferred with their job or a family issue out of the area, they don't want to sell because they may be coming back, they need to pay the mortgage, so they want to rent the home. We don't want to prevent that either. So typically what we incorporate in the HOA docs is a 6-month or a 12-month minimum on the amount of time that you have to set a rental agreement. So that typically works out really well. And again, as I mentioned before, the power of having the HOA, especially in a townhome neighborhood where all the yards are maintained, is even if it is a rental, should be able to drive through the neighborhood and not be able to tell that it's a rental. But again, we'll limit the amount of time that it has to be at least a 6-month or a 12-month lease in order to rent your home.
Thank you, Scott. Wayne, we'll definitely be taking the next question here. Was the site distance on Sharon Forest is poor? We will we'll certainly be taking a look at that at the intersection of Sharon Forest and Briardale as well. All right. We are slowly creeping up on our 7 o'clock meeting window here. Does anyone else have any additional questions?
None.
All right. Well, again, my name is Paul Pennell with Urban Design Partners. I'm pretty easy to find. You can probably Google my name or find me on our website, urbandesignpartners.com. Moving forward from here, we will be, again, documenting the discussion that we've had tonight. This meeting is also being recorded. Anyone that maybe wasn't able to join us tonight will actually be able to go on our website, again, urbandesignpartners.com, click on the rezoning tab, and then you'll be able to see a page where you can access all of the rezoning documents. There will be a PDF copy of the presentation that we provided tonight that you can download and share. And then you can also watch the meeting that we've had tonight. Again, if you so choose. I can't imagine why anyone attending here tonight would ever want to watch it again, but feel free to do so if you'd like. Everything will be there online. It'll probably give us about a day and a half to get all of that information online, but it'll be there for at least 2 weeks. So if anyone would like to check all that out. And then also I encourage everyone to go to rezoning.org. That's the City of Charlotte's planning website to follow this petition and all other zoning petitions in the City of Charlotte. It's great to know what's coming in our wonderful city.
I have a question.
Yes.
For some reason, the Nextdoor site will not let me share PDFs. Is there any way I could get it converted to JPEG?
Yeah, of course. I'll send you a JPEG.
Okay, great.
Would you like the site rendering, Alicia? Or do you want the rezoning plans?
Everything would be great. That way
Okay.
I can share it with people who aren't tech savvy enough to do a Zoom.
Sure. Let's see the site rendering and rezoning plans. I'll get those over to you tomorrow. All right. Well, everyone, thank you so much again for your time. Really appreciate you taking an hour out of your Tuesday. Wish everyone the best. Stay healthy. Wash your hands. There's a light at the end of the tunnel here, and if we're lucky enough, maybe the public hearing will be in person. Who knows? Fingers crossed. We'll see.
Great.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate it. Councilmember Newton, thank you for taking your time tonight to join us. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great presentation. This is Vaughn.
Hey, Vaughn. How are you?
How are you?
Great to
Pretty
see
good.
you.
Could you send me the site rendering
Of
via
course.
email?
Of course. Happy to do it.
Thank you so much.
All right.
The same for me, please. For Gloria.
Gloria, if you could you send me your contact info? You can reach me at Paul, P-A-U-L, at urbandesignpartners.com.
Okay.
Make sure you put that S on the end of partners.com.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thanks,
Paul.
Gloria. Have a great night.
You too, thanks.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Take care.
See everyone.
See ya.
Bye.